How can I see my own? How can I see my own chat on screen? First of all, sound. Can I do gym theme? Whoa, chill. Everybody be cool. Everybody be cool. Let's try 20. Still a little loud. Let's go 10. Shit, 5. That works. Okay. Hey. I figured I'd try something a little bit different this week just because I'm kind of short on time, to be honest. And this is actually the faster option. Sorry, this is the hey. You're probably wondering, this isn't a video. Why is that? Hey. Give me a second, folks. I've never actually streamed to YouTube before, so I'm kind of getting my bearings. Ooh. Not a fan of the bitrate. 2000 is actually pretty bad. I see you, folks. Just give me a sec. Sorry, I'm messing with settings. Can I increase that? Good morning. Well, it's like 7:58 p.m. over here. Good old Tokyo. This YouTube live streaming page is kind of useless, huh? I guess we could just chuck that in the garbage. Don't really need that. I need to grab some assets. Very different for Twitch. Yeah, damn, massive. Bro, what are you doing well, I guess it is Monday there, right? I guess most folks are getting up to go to work. Wouldn't surprise me. I just finished up my work day. All right, what do I need to do here? I know the struggle of having a job. I too must pay bills. 1 p.m. That must be Europe. You must be like Spain? I'm just guessing based off of like relative time zones. That sounds like Spain, right? It's 8 hours. Might be England. I don't actually know how time zones. Once you actually get into Europe, I don't actually know how the time zones work. So I just kind of assumed all of Europe is on one time zone. That's probably not right. Okay. Tunes. I'll change that at some point. Yeah, I'm really worried about getting copyright striked by playing my normal like stream playlist. Twitch isn't as crazy as YouTube is, and YouTube it's like if 3 songs that are copyrighted pop up on your stream, that your entire account is gone. So gotta be very careful. Yeah, don't dox yourself, Spade. Okay, I do have that. Hey Tommy, what's going on? Thanks for popping by. Don't mind me, just getting ready. You guys have to bear with me for just a moment. I guess I can just close this. It's not giving me any info. What if I update the page? Yeah, still useless. Sick and based. Alright, notes to self. Next time, figure out how to put my chat actually on the stream. You guys should be famous like right here. But I don't know how to do that yet, so I also don't know how to make correct circles. So that's the actual list, and I also need the web page that shows all the results. open up my fancy Google Drive here. Hey, Super X, what's up? I didn't expect people to actually be up in here this early. I guess I can show this off. I don't think anyone's actually ever seen this before. I had thought about releasing this before, but I think I just kept it. 1 p.m. en France. BT13, meta report data. Oh, that was like the hard stuff. Yeah, that's the wrong one though. BT14. Some Grace, Nova, and Beelstar news. Oh, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, I guess you would get that one yet. Did I ever release? I think I released this. Let me see if scenes are working. That looks right. Yeah, that looks correct. F11, that bad boy. No, wrong screen. Shoot, I F11 the wrong thing. Oh god, everything's on fire. I guess this really isn't that useful because you guys can't see a damn thing. It's so small, eh? Mitama Kentaro. Mitamamon seems like a problem down the line. Being able to just stop Digimon from attacking outright is pretty nasty. Like, I feel like that's one of those cards. It's like Venusmon, right? It seems like okay when it comes out, but with time it only gets better. Control Shift Plus. Oh, thank God. Nice. And then I can hide this because nobody cares about that on stream. And then I F11. I don't have to F11 here. This man does have. So these are all the stats that I keep. This is from BT13, and so BT13 was hella long. It lasted from like February until 17 weeks, like more than a quarter of the year, something like that. Yeah. So I thought I'm not sure if I actually released this data or not. If I actually like tweeted it out or not. I planned to, but I don't think I did. But it's like all the decks, all the by week. It's pretty interesting stuff. Yeah, I'll post it up. I think this one is actually public. Let me see. 1 second, and I doxed myself. Anyone with the link can view it. All right, copy link. Paste. There you go. If you're interested in it, it's a little old. I guess it's a little old now if you're playing in Asia, but yeah. This is also BT14, which is not as long. So one of the things I like to do when everything is all said and done. Do you make notes for your data? Absolutely. I absolutely make notes. Peeling back the veil or peeling back the curtain, I do probably a lot more work than I should be doing. But yeah, Shine Greymon was tops. War Greymon was pretty damn close. Mirage. This is like the deck that nobody talks about, Mirage. It's really strong. It still has OTK potential, and it doesn't seem like the problem because it doesn't have Finner Lugumon in the name. This deck is absolutely, in my opinion, one of the strongest decks in the game right now. Super interesting data collection stuff. Yeah, there was a guy who did, oh god, I wish I remember his name. There's a guy who took all the tournament data from, I think it was either Europe or an NA event, and I don't know how he got this, but he got the matchup spreads. So he took all like the major decks and he created like a chart with like the deck names over on this side and the decks on top, and then he just like calculated all the matchup numbers based off of the tournament. So the Gen Con stuff, like the every round of the tournament, all the matchups that happened, he calculated those into averages. It was really cool to see. So you got a really good idea of like what a deck's win rate was against another kind of deck. Like if you want to know how well does Shine do against Bloom Lord or Bloom Quartz. Yeah, really good stuff. Runs the website Card Slash. I've never even heard of that. Let's see if we can find it. Wikimon, the #1 Digimon wiki. Wait, no, that's just no, that's not right. That's not right at all. I don't think I found it. Rip in peace. Tell my man to up his marketing game. He's got the numbers. But what we're most concerned with is this week. So yeah, you can see like pretty much every time I do one of these, one of my meta reports, I take a look at all the data I get from the Digimon TCG website, the Digimon card game, Digimon CG guide website, yeah, and then the number crunching from Twitter. And then I create a couple of takeaways. So some of this is based off of my anecdotal experience. I'll usually say that, but I also just grab some of the stats from when I talk to players out at locals. And then I grab a couple of decks and I link to them as well. So you can see that this week's theme is very similar. So I'm also trying to make good on a promise I made last week that I kind of broke, and I don't think I can make good on. But I'm doing my best, all right? So last week I said that I wanted to show off some of the Garuru stuff in a separate video, and that didn't happen because I have about an average of like 5 free hours to do editing and video stuff a week, which typically includes like one video. So I didn't have a chance to actually do that. So I'm going to use this video as a way to fulfill that promise and talk about Garurumon in EX5, because Animal Colosseum should have been called like the doghouse, because there's so many dog decks right now that it's insane, and they're almost all purple. Go figure. So let me take a look here. Can I kill the music a little bit further? 5 is actually, yeah. That's about right, yeah. Alright, so that works. So here we go, found it. Hey. So this week's spreads are super different from everything we've seen before. The past, I don't know, maybe 20 weeks have been the average Shine topping really hard. And come this week, that is absolutely not the case. So first of all, Garurumon, the new Garurumon engine is just so good. I tweeted this out last week. I think it was last week or last weekend. But if you start Garurumon with Gabumon and Raising and a Cool Boy, they can draw almost through half of their deck in one turn with one memory. If you start them on one with a Gabumon and a Cool Boy, they draw about half their deck, which is insane. So many things can take advantage of that. And they did. And so this deck has, it's kind of like it's funny because like there is a Cerberusmon that came out in EX5, but it feels like Garurumon is the true Cerberus because he has like 3 different forms right now. One being purple main or purple base, one being a blue base, and then one being a Beelstar base, which is pretty cool. And I don't know who came up with the Beelstar base, but they are a genius. And then right below that is Anubismon. So Anubismon, I think, I showed it off last week. So if you actually want to see what a list looks like for Anubismon, definitely take a look at last week's video. But the price for one of the promos, the Saberdramon, it's a purple-red bird. This is what I would normally show a card on screen for people to see, but we ain't got that. So, go to my favorite deck building website. And Saberdramon. It's a promo that's coming out in the West, I think, pretty soon. But this guy right here, which has Raid and Retaliation, because it has Retaliation, it fits into the Anubismon deck really well. Anubismon the idea is that he plays a card for essentially -6 cost, and if you combine that with Mervamon, who can already like not Digivolve, but Digicross and make herself 8 cost, so she reduces her play cost by 3. Anubismon reduces the play cost by 6 more, so that's a total of 9, which means she's a 2-cost card. And then on top of that, a lot of the cards that came out in EX5 also have inheritance effects where whenever you play Digimon by an effect, you can gain a memory. There's the Dobermon X Antibody that does that. There's the Labramon that does that. There's already cards in existence that do that as well. I think Ignitemon, which is the purple Crossheart card that Mervamon typically uses to Digicross with, also has that effect. And then there's a slew of other cards, in addition to a Tamer in the form of the Matte Tamer that came out in the ST16 starter deck, the purple starter deck. I think that the West is getting really soon. That Tamer's cracked, by the way. He also gives +1 memory because the way that you reduce the cost on the Anubismon cards is also by tossing cards out of your hand. And so toss a card out of hand, rest mat, get +1. So it's really easy to get out an Anubismon who's a 4 cost, which, 4 cost Digivolve is a little bit heavy in this game. But you get him out and for essentially 4 memory, or 3 or 4. And then you go into Mervamon, you Digicross her. She lets you drop 2 Digimon on the board who have Retaliation or are Digicross, or not Digicross, but Crossheart, typically Retaliation in this case. And for 3 memory, you've gained 4 attackers and 4 blockers that all have Retaliation, which is kind of insane. So yeah, Anubismon is really good right now. Again, they pop in Anubismon and they can hit for 4, so if they've done any amount of chip damage early on, they can pretty much win the game from the Anubismon turn. There's also things like you play 2 of the Soulmons, like the little ghosts. What's up, Cardfight King? You play 2 of the I think it's Soulmon in English, the ghosts, who buff all the Digimon's DP who have Retaliation by 2,000. You have 2 of those on the field, and they typically don't die. Then, whenever they swing, you can use a Chimeramon after that to get a 5th swing. Because it's a 0-cost Digivolve, then who cares, right? So yeah, Anubismon really good. Like 4 to 5 attacks for free. And right below him is a card that I talked about before, actually, before I started talking about this entire list, which is Mirage Galgamon. A lot of folks have been talking about like Fenrir Lugamon and Shine Greymon and War Greymon, but the one that doesn't get enough shine, no pun intended, is the Mirage Galgamon, who can kind of just still OTK, and it just kind of goes under the radar because a lot of the decks right now are much newer. And then for some reason, and I'm not really sure why, Royal Knights has been topping quite a bit the past week. I don't know if it's because these decks... I don't play Royal Knights, but if I had to give my opinion here, throw my hat into the ring, I don't think Royal Knights actually does that well against some of these decks. Specifically because the Garurumon deck can kind of go off from turn 2 to 3, and they still need time to set up for Royal Knights. They still take time. So I can't really explain why Royal Knights is doing well, but when I go to locals, I'll see if I can get some other folks' opinions as well, because I'm still kind of in the dark here. Yeah, like I said before, the dogs. Anubismon, Garurumon, and Mirage Galgamon. It's kind of funny that Fenrir Lugamon is actually all the way down here in the rookie level. Just because I think right now what a lot of people are doing is they're practicing for the regionals that are coming up here in Japan. So if you're unaware of how Japan's qualification system works for the World Championship, they do 2 sets of regionals. One's like super local level card shops, and then those are like the regional ones, and then the winners of those go to a regional that's just the winners of the first stage, basically. And then the winners of those go to, like, I guess nationals, or the true regionals, and then nationals, and then we go to the World Championship. So because those are coming up this week, I think they start from I think they actually started from this last Sunday. And this set is very new. These 2 decks right here specifically are incredibly new. People are trying to learn how the matchups go as fast as possible. So I think just a ton of people just spam the decks at their local events. And as that is for that reason, Shine Greymon, Vaccine Yellow, Crossheart. It's weird. It's been doing much better than Hunters the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks. And it's just, I guess, because of the aggression of Crossheart. Also, Beelzemon, a little bit of Bloomlord here. Bloomlord is, we talked about this before, but people were trying out the Quartzmon. Well, it's not Quartzmon, it's Quantumon, excuse me. They've been trying out the Quantumon that was in the limited set for Gamamon and the Ghost Game cards. It's like a 2 to 3 of in every deck now. In fact, I think they're cutting some copies of Quartzmon. Not Quartzmon, Jesus Christ. These are all the outtakes you guys don't see. They're cutting copies of... I'm blanking on the name. What's his name? Big Plant Dragon. Winner gets a good job for me in chat. They can figure out who I'm talking about. They cut Quartzmon, but Hydramon, yes. Well done, folks. As promised. Thank you for having the memory that I don't have. But yeah, that card is absolutely a staple for the deck now. And it's been how many sets that Bloom Quartz has been really good? Like, it was first just Bloom Lord, then it was Bloom Hydra, then it was Bloom Quartz. It's like Plant just assimilates everything into itself. They even had like, what? Yeah, Rosemon as well. And then I think if you guys have been looking at some of the Twitter leaks that have been, I wouldn't call them leaks, but releases or reveals from the Japanese side, Rosemon's getting much stronger in BT15 as well. Rosemon's getting some sauce. The Palmon X antibody and the Togemon X antibody cards are coming. But moving on, Deva is actually doing surprisingly well. Sometimes when I look at cards in a new set, I'm like, this is filler. And for this EX set, I was like, man, they have to release a lot of new stuff for an EX set, so it's got to be pretty crazy. And I looked at all the Deva cards, I'm like, oh, this is filler. And I've been proven wrong at every turn, it feels like. From the Leopardmon deck that uses the Deva cards, the green Deva cards, which is really cool. I talked about that last week. And just like Devamon decks themselves have been doing decently well. Despite the fact that they're kind of controlling, they kind of give away a lot of memory, the Ace cards are actually pretty scary. And because they do suffer an overflow penalty, you get to keep your turn, but you typically lose something of great importance at the same time. So deck is actually doing better than I had anticipated, like much better. I thought I would see more of the Grace Nova stuff than I would of the Deva cards, and I've been completely wrong. It's been the complete opposite, actually. But actually, speaking of the Grace Nova cards, Grace Nova has actually graced the list this week. It's kind of surprising. I thought the deck was really cool. Being able to go into one stack and then like Digivolve up the stack and then like say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna undigivolve, put this at the bottom of the stack, gain a bunch of memory, make my next digivolve minus cost, and then you could like go into your level 6s multiple times in a turn for really cheap, and just take the game. And that's not been the case. This deck has really struggled to find footing here, and I'm not really sure why. Lots of people are trying a lot of different stuff. I've seen everything from including white copies of the Searcher card from like Mother D Reaper back in that day, like 2 copies like Mother D Reaper. Because the blue level 3 card can take advantage of them by pulling them back to hand and then giving you memory. And because they're 1 cost, who cares, right? Also Daftmon. I love Daftmon. Or wait, that's Japanese. Leopardmon. Leopardmon, yeah. This is also a struggle I have internally, and that is like trying to get my English pronunciation for all the cards, because I don't think a lot of people know this, but I didn't really grow up with Digimon. I watched the anime. I think I got up until the end of Edamon. So I know about, like, Edamon's one of my favorites. And then after that, I caught, like, bits and pieces of other stuff. But I don't know the name. Like, I didn't even know the Royal Knights existed. Like, I knew... like, people kind of assume that I just, like, know. I have, like, deep lore knowledge of Digimon. I just don't at all. So, yeah, most of these... My introduction to them is the Japanese names. So Leopardmon or Daftmon. I kind of like Daftmon better, but Leopardmon is fine. My next antibody doing pretty well. I think most of the decks are now focused on the Deva package. Although I have seen some folks like try out Leomon. I have seen some folks try out, myself actually, the Ghost Game Angoromon stuff. Angoromon's cool. It does feel a little bit clunky, but... Actually, if you took a look at some of the reveals today for BT15, the new Oryumon line, like the X antibody Ryudomon and stuff like that, are black-green, and if you take a look at their costs, they are exactly 4 for the level 4 and 7 for the level 5. So they also fit into here, and they have some pretty nasty effects on their own. You knew nothing about the anime or anything? Dang. Was through the BT5 release? Yo, you are catching up, Vortex. Holy crap. I guess to round out the rookies here, it's just War Greymon. This is a deck that, it's weird. I didn't really care for War Greymon until last set when I played it. I won a team tournament with a buddy of mine. He played Blue Flare, which is like the blue metal Greymon, and I played Red War Greymon, so we're like the Greymon Rangers. And it's actually a very fun deck, but also very hard against a lot of the spreads. A lot of the spreads in this in the last set. Against Shine Greymon, Fenrir Lugomon, the Mirror, Mirage Galgamon, Belphamon. It's actually kind of tough for this deck, so they definitely have to earn their wins. They're not free anymore. Hydra's not being run anymore. Just less copies of Hydra. Hydra, I think, is a useful card, but it feels like Bloomlord has kind of assimilated the same, I guess, boon that Agumon did in the past, where your level 1 through 5s are pretty set, but your level 6s has just now become your Swiss Army knife of like, okay, when I get to like my most powerful form, how do I want to win the game? Where with Agumon and Greymon, you can go in like the really offensive route with the Black-Red War Greymon that has Raid, and then into War Greymon X Antibody, or you can go the more defensive route with things like Black War Greymon, who has like Tamer Destruction and can unsuspend whenever something dies, and then also Black War Greymon, who has access to like Reboot, as well as like Blocker from the Tide Tamer, really high DP, and then whenever like he unsuspends, like bad things happen on your opponent's side of the board. So Green kind of has that now with like Bloomlord, Quartzmon, Hydramon, thanks to the folks in chat, as well as Quantumon now. So it really feels like this neat little way to play the game where you choose your level 6s and that is your toolkit to win. And if, honestly, I think Agumon gets a lot of hate, and again, rightly so. I kind of understand why. It was really strong for a long time without many things to contest it. But like being able to have that is, I think, really fun for the game. But rounding things out, I was really hoping that, speaking of the leaks earlier today, I was really hoping that we would get more like Alphamon stuff, but then I was like, wait a second. Alphamon just came out in Royal Knights, so maybe we're not going to get another Alphamon. And lo and behold, we have not got another Alphamon. I think they stopped at level 5s, and if we got a green-black Alphamon, that'd be pretty cool, but I doubt it's going to happen. Although, I guess you could hold out, because BT15 still has only released one of their secret rares, and it's Apocalypsemon. I think it's his name, Apocalypsemon. He looks like a giant mace. But maybe there's still a chance. But yeah, Alphamon's still out there. There's one guy in Tokyo. There's like this, I don't know anybody, but there's this one guy in Tokyo who's played Alphamon since its release, and he's never changed. I've only ever seen this guy play this deck. And I think like anytime you see Alphamon, it's just that guy. He was the guy that, what was it, when I played D-Brigade for a while, I had a board set up, and I was like, I'm going to win in 3 turns, and then he killed me with Alphamon in 3 turns. We're like, how did Alphamon kill me in 3 turns? I had an entire board, and he just evaporated it. But yeah, there you go. Also, Belphamon. Belphamon is, people are trying to put Belphamon and combine it with the new Leviamon, aka the Gator, and it's been a little lackluster, to be honest. I thought it would be really good. For folks who don't know Leviamon, he lets you basically hit the board anytime a Digimon is placed on the board by an effect. You can delete your opponent's highest level Digimon, or highest cost, or highest DP. It's one of the two. What am I guessing for? I literally have I have the internet at my fingertips. You guys got to tell me not to guess. Just be like, hey, you can know this. Also, is this artwork not incredibly sick? It's so simple, but like the darkness of underwater, and then like the really good drawing here. I had a fella at my locals last week give me an entire lecture on the guy who did the artwork for this card. This guy, his name is Naochika Morishita. he also does a ton of artwork for Gundam stuff. So if you've probably looked at Gundam artwork that has like this kind of like gritty style of art, it's almost always him. Almost always. Can we see? Going down the rabbit hole, sorry folks. Now Chica Morishita. Here we go. I think he's also done work for like Magic the Gathering as well. But yeah, like Gundam stuff like this. Is that not incredibly effing sick? Like this right here. Bro. Why does he slap so hard? But yeah, like all this is now Chika Morisha. This is the same guy that does the Digimon artwork for some of the alt arts. They told me it was his Twitter account, but I don't remember what it was. I'll have to look it up and I'll tweet it out later. Oh, he does Ava too? Damn, that's what's up. Yeah, he's done like Gundam card game artwork. This is from G Gundam, right? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, where was I at? Leviamon? Yeah, so first of all, S+1, but also he's kind of expensive at 5. But if your opponent has more cards, basically, than you on the board, you can delete their highest level and then the lowest level, which is really useful if they have only 2 Digimon out. In past cases where, like, if you had to delete, like, the lowest level, somebody could play a big Digimon and then cap off their turn by playing, like, a level 3. And, what's up, Black Ace? And then they could get around your effect. But in this case, Leviamon stops that shit full stop. And then every time something's deleted, he gains memory. So he can become a 3 cost, but because of the way the game is right now, I think it's hard for Leviamon to find footing. It's a really useful card. I kind of feel like it's like a Venusmon, where it's okay when it comes out, but it only gets better with time. Because a lot of things right now just come from raising and try to OTK. But once like defense catches up with a lot of the offense right now, I think Leviamon becomes way better. And then he's also got this really expensive option card, Biting Crush, which basically just lets you play the card for Leviamon for free. But it's 8 costs, and I don't know how I can reduce the cost of this card. 8 is a pretty special number. It's hard to make this like reasonable to get out. Yeah, so the Biting Crush, trash a card in your hand, delete one of your opponent's level 6 or lower Digimon, so pretty much anything in the game. And then if you threw away a 7th-grade Demon Lords, that's what? Piedmon, Leviamon, Lilithmon. I'm missing some folks for sure. Metal Seedramon, I think. Weirdly enough. Then you can like put this card in the battle area so it stays, and then you can use the delay effect on any turn. If they play a card by an effect, a Digimon, you just drop a Leviamon from your trash without playing its cost. So most folks try to go the route of playing. Whoa, where'd I go? Most folks try to go the route of playing like Leviamon alongside Belphemon, and it works to varying degrees, I think. Am I mixing Dark Masters and 7 Demon Lords? Thank you. Because like I said before, I don't know the lore. Wait, then who are the 7 Demon Lords? What's up, Drakes, folks? Just play 4 Mimi? Nah, I'm good. I'm good on that. Lusamon? I guess we can do some 7 Lords. Beals Barbara? Barba? Daemon? I've never heard of most of these. Let's find out together. Okay, Lusamon Chaos Mode. Leviamon. Ah, Daemon. Okay, I know Daemon. Belphemon. Oh, I didn't know Rage Mode. Really? Really? Is it on the card? Rage. Oh, he is 7th grade Demon Lord. Dang, I didn't even notice. Belphemon Rage Mode. Barbamon. My man's beard game is insane. I'm gonna need a haircut though. Holy crap. You probably smell crazy too. Oh, I missed one. Who was the last one? And Barbam. Oh, Beelzemon. And yeah, okay, Lilithmon. Okay, I knew Beels and Lilith, I suppose. But yeah, I definitely mix those up. I was kind of... Whoa, Digimon has an X version? Well, that's kind of nasty. That's kind of nasty. Hold up. Also, does everything just have an X antibody version? Is that a thing? It feels like it. Holy shit. Does every Digimon have like an accompanying X antibody version? I did not know that. Like all of them. Because I was like, okay, Agumon I get. Garurumon okay. But then they just kept coming out with like random, like Dobermon X antibody. I was like, really? Who did this? Who made this? Jello, what's up? Thanks for joining us, buddy. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you're at on the planet. But yeah, I guess everything has an X antibody. That's kind of wild. Could you imagine if they did something like that with Pokemon, where they're just like, you know what? What if we took all the Pokemon and times 2? Oh, not Vmon? All right, well, close enough. X Vmon, that counts, right? Hercules Kabuterimon doesn't have one? Doesn't he, though? I thought he did. Isn't it an actual card already? Am I tripping? I could be tripping. Oh, BT11, yeah. But where was I at? So Belphemon tries to combine with Leviamon a little bit, and not as much success as I thought, considering Belphemon is really nasty for stopping attacks, and Leviamon is good at stopping things like, oh, I don't know, Fenrir Lugamon, Anubismon. Yeah, I'd imagine it'd be to see more success, but still none. Blue Flare, like if you wanted a counter deck for the ages, man, Blue Flare really just is it. Source Strip the shit out of stuff. It only gets more usefulness with cards like Sorai and Zudomon Ace. And some people have even started putting in, what was it? The Dianamon? For like super aggressive builds, they go to the Dianamon from the Nightclaw stuff. Is it Dianamon? Get off. Purple. Yeah. Dianamon. So they've gone into this because the deck already like does source stripping itself, and then you just add this in, and yeah, you basically get to unsuspend for free. Well, Digivolve cost, but you know, you get the idea. So there's that. But yeah, the deck is just, it's so good against so many things, and it's so hard to play around Blue Flare because it feels like clockwork. Like, you're right, oh, I'm gonna put out one Digimon, then grab one Digimon and raising, no problem. And then you attack with one Digimon that you have on the board, and you invariably just hit a blue memory boost, or a Sorai, or some option, Howling memory boost, or something. And then you're like, well, this can't attack now, so I guess I'll just promote the other one, and then I'll attack next turn, and then you lose the game. But yeah, Blue Flare, if you want a counter deck that's going to last you a long time, it feels like this is the one. It still gets play even up until like BT14, EX5, might see play in BT15 as well. But Chaos Dramon, I'm really surprised with Mugen Dramon sticking around, just because Yellow Vaccine is such a hard counter to the deck. The secret rare Angemon that we got back in BT 14, yeah, BT 14, just yeets this card off the board. Like, you can have all of the protection you want, and Angemon's just like, goodbye. As well as things like Digipolice. Man, the next set, Digipolice, is going to be so fun. They're getting way more support, and they're also getting, I guess, a couple of other archetypes. There's a lot more Tamers that are coming out, alongside a lot more Digimon too. So it'll be interesting to see how this deck evolves going into the next set. I, for one, am very excited because I thought this deck was going to be great. Turned out to be a little bit lackluster just because Death Exmon is a problem. And who was it? It was Death Exmon and Shine Greymon Ruin Mode that just like evaporates your entire board. A Dark Nightmon. Oh yeah, this is pretty cool. So there was a fella who actually not topped, but he won one of the Ultimate Cups, like a really big tournament over here in Japan at one of the Tamer Tour events. So like they did like 5 tour events across Japan, and one of the guys who was using Dark Nightmon actually won one of those. So huge tournament, and it's really cool to see. The deck did get a little bit of support recently with like the new promo Skull Nightmon, so that's kind of cool. But his build was really interesting. Jellymon. Yeah, Jellymon is actually kind of a contender. Stopping Digimon from attacking and then also just stopping your card from being destroyed. Kind of strong right now. And then Heavy Leomon. This is the symbol for last out. Or not last out. Library out. Mill decks. And then finally, Metal Edamon. This is the deck that I've been trying to make work the most since this set has been released. And... oh, you want to talk about the struggle train? I played a guy last week. He was using Crossheart and I was using Metal Edamon, and I was in a pretty commanding position for the entire game, and then I just ran out of steam. It feels like it has the problem that Yellow has, where your defense is really good, like really, really good, but it's hard to take that defense and make an advantage out of it. Like, games will go long, and you have to. I think it's just my, like, from my matchup experience so far. It feels like you have to save and set up for your Sukamon Kings. Those are going to be like your spears or your swords, whereas Metal Edamon is going to be your shield, being able to like redirect attacks and stack your security so that it gets even worse. It feels like you have to use the Sukamon King in order to turn stuff into poop, or get your board filled with poop, and then use him to attack to get multiple security checks. So yeah, I still need to practice more with the deck, but it's really hard to pilot. It's very hard to pilot. Also, games last a long time, so if you're not the kind of person who can like withstand like multiple rounds of long games, this is not the deck for you. But I feel like turning stuff into shit. What keeps Alphamon from having more wins? More support, my man. More support. Alphamon takes time to just build up into one stack, and during that time, other decks just do what it does a little bit faster. Like Finner Lugamon, if you play Finner Lugamon, it's like, wow. It's like a slip and slide to like to the winner's circle. It's like, what's this? Memory? Free memory? Oh, Analog Youth? What's this? Blow up their Digimon? And then also draw like 4 cards? Cool, alright, I'm about it. But yeah, this is the list for this week. Again, the big notes here being that purple is having a field day. If you're a purple player, you eat very well in the Animal Colosseum. Between all the different forms of Garurumon, Anubismon, and Lugamon, there's so much to be excited about in this set. Let's actually take a look at some of the lists that I had prepared. So again, I want to make good on my promise last week. I said I wanted to do Garurumon in a different video, so we're gonna look at all the different forms of Garurumon at this point. I will be upfront with you folks. These are not all from this week. I think some of the things have evolved, and I think the purple base is probably most. Purple base and Beelstar are probably the most played versions of Garurumon right now. But I just want to show for folks who are interested the different faces of this dog. So there's the blue base, which is pretty straightforward. Like if you've played Garurumon in the past, a lot of these cards are gonna look really familiar. The one copy of the limited to 1 Were Garurumon, who can get security attack +1 and also restand for free. 4 copies of the new purple Were Garurumon from the starter deck. Yeah, this is from the starter deck, who discards a card and then you get to unsuspend and attack again. So again, this is the blue base, so you can see a lot of the blue stuff here. Blue Gabumons for search. The new Gabumon X Antibody, which is an insanely good search card. You play this guy and you open 4, and you grab a Gabumon card or an X Antibody card, add 2 to your hand, and then you put the rest at the bottom of the deck, and then after that, you discard 1 card. So if you took a card at all, if you took even 1 card from those 4, you discard a card. If you didn't take anything, you don't have to discard anything. But on top of that, it also has an inheritance or protection effect, so whenever he would be destroyed by battle, you just take any 2 non-Digitama cards or any 2 non-Digi-Egg cards from your trash and just slot them at the bottom of your deck, and you just don't die. Keep in mind that is once per turn, and it's once per turn because multiple stages of the X Antibody cards have that effect. So the Gabumon X has that effect, the Garurumon X has that effect. Garurumon X himself, when you evolve to this guy, draw 2, discard 2, then gain a memory. He's a 0 cost from Garurumon, by the way. 3 costs otherwise. And then Garurumon X, Where Garurumon X, also discard, 2 cards to unsuspend. And then you can grab 1 Garurumon name card in your trash, add it back to your hand. So just so much good value in the new X Antibody cards. And because this deck also runs the blue base, you see things like the blue Where Garurumon X card, which just unsuspends for free, also bounces level 4. The good level 4 Garurumon, who's a promo. This guy, I think, is coming in the West's, what is it called? Hey, Falco, it's called the Resurgence Booster. You guys changed the name for some reason. The Resurgence Booster with the reprints, I think this guy is in that set as well. So he's a promo originally, which means he's kind of hard to get your hands on, but now he should be much cheaper. And then, yeah, like, there's also the new X Antibody Proto form, which you Digivolve. It works a little bit differently. So, X Antibody, you would slot up under a Digimon, and then whenever it attacked, you had the option to Digivolve into an X Antibody card from your hand during the attack. The X Antibody Proto form is different. You play the card X Antibody Proto form, and then you can Digivolve one of your Digimon into an X Antibody card, and when you do that, you minus the Digivolve cost by 1, and then you put the X Antibody card up under it. So you can't just like slot the card under and do nothing. So when you play X Antibody Proto form, you have to evolve, which makes it a little bit different to use. And also, it doesn't have the Digivolve on attack effect. So it's play card, evolve, then do stuff. But whenever that card is destroyed that has this, you basically put this on top of your security, so you recover 1, and then you take 1 card from the destroyed Digimon stack and add it to your hand. Yeah, kind of like Hammer Spark. That's a good way of putting it. The security effect doesn't give you memory, though. You just add it to hand, which is nice, which means if you have one of these, you're pretty much going to have it all game. And you can keep using it to recover in a sense. And then, yeah, there's the top line stuff, which is the old Metal Garurumon X Antibody, who bounces and is a blocker and becomes active, and then the new one, who is way nastier. If he gives a blanket effect to your opponent, everything minus 4 memory on attack, and then whenever he attacks, he can slot a Digimon card from your trash to the bottom of your deck, and that same level Digimon you can just wipe off your opponent's side of the board. So yeah, blue base is pretty cool. It's more focused on getting cards in the early version, or early levels, with things like the Garurumon here, and the old Gabumon X Antibody. And then in the later levels, you can opt to spin those cards that you've accumulated to throw away to get more attacks, and things like the Where Garurumon, the Where Garurumon X Antibody, and also to gain memory off of things like the Garurumon X Antibody when you get to him. Also, oh yeah, I forgot, the piece de resistance for this deck, you're probably like, man, it must suck because I'm going to run out of cards if I keep attacking into security with my Garurumon X and my Gabumon X if the security is big. Well, because it's X Antibody, you're going to have a ton of source cards. And if you use the new Bukomon, which I don't know why they printed this card, if you have the biggest stack on the board, you get jamming for free. And this deck can go so fast that it almost always is the biggest stack on the board. And so you're just hitting with jamming. The only thing you have to worry about is like for defense, whenever they attack into your Garurumon, to actually use these effects like the Gabumon X and the Garurumon X. So yeah, most of your attacks are done with jamming. Doesn't matter. Like this Bukomon, people are in Japan are like, this card should probably be limited to 1 or banned. It's kind of really good because it just makes Mirage Gabumon even better, right? But that's blue. So the blue base is mostly focused on early card advantage and then spinning that advantage more easily in the later game to get multiple attacks. Let's take a look at the purple and the purple base. What's really cool about the purple base is, I don't know who figured this out. They basically just cut all the blue Gabumon cards or Garurumon cards and Gabumon cards, and they go with just the full purple stuff on the lower end. So purple Gabumon you see here. They go with the purple Garurumon, the one from this starter deck that has a security effect, which is really nice. But when you get to the top end of the deck, you see they've got like 2 copies of the Metal Garurumon X here, the old one, and then 1 copy of the new one. I think people have figured out this new one is a little bit more lackluster compared to how they thought it was going to be. But to make up for this card, they also have copies of Beelzemon X Antibody in here. So this is really neat. Because the deck the purple version focuses so much at every level on drawing cards and discarding cards, you kind of have space in the deck to just discard extra stuff. And in my case, I use it to discard like purple Nidhoggmon to gain a memory. You can do it to like gain card draw off of some of the cards that when you discard them, you get to draw one extra card. But in this case, they use Beelzemon X so that when they have cards to throw away, they slot in full Hell Cluster. So the glare in here is unfortunately not great. So let me show you off what full Hell Cluster looks like. Is it full Hell? It might be a different name. Whoa. Huh. Cluster? I might have just made that name up. 7th full cluster. My bad. I'm tripping. Yeah, 7th full cluster. So when something digivolves into Beelzemon X, while this card is in your trash, you can return this to the bottom of your deck and then delete your opponent's lowest level Digimon. This is really cool because they typically run 2 to 3 copies of this card in the deck. The 7th full cluster. So once they pop their X antibody Beelzemon, they basically just wipe your board. So you get to this guy, he's like 4 cost, maybe 3 cost if you use the X antibody proto form. And because you've got the X antibody there, you get all the good effects from the Beelzemon X antibody, but also you get the 7 full cluster to just wipe their opponent's board. So actually really, really heads up. I got hit by this, I think it was 2 weeks ago. Thankfully, I was using Metal Edamon, and I was able to stack my security, so even when my guy died, my yellow Edamon died, I could stack him on security, and I could pull back on Metal Edamon later on. But that was scary. He just wiped my board in like one go. I was like, holy shit, I'm about to lose. Very, very cool indeed. Everything else is pretty much the same. One of the boons of this deck is that because it is mono-colored, in the sense that pretty much everything is at least purple, with the exception of maybe like the top end, you can slot in copies of the training cards. So we see the 4 purple Wisdom training cards, which are fantastic. And that makes the drawability and like the searchability in the deck way better. I mean, you see things like Cool Boy as well. And that just... The Cool Boy is like the card advantage for purple, where they're typically like... The way this deck works is when you draw a card, you almost always keep the amount of cards you draw. Throw away the amount of cards you draw, excuse me. And Cool Boy is a way to like actually gain advantage and not run out of hand. So, really neat to see. And the last version of Garurumon X here is going to be probably the wildest one, and that is Garurumon. The engine is so good at like cycling through your deck. I said it before, and I'll show it off maybe a little bit later, or maybe I'll make a short for it. Who knows? 1 Cool Boy, 1 Gabumon, 1 Memory. If you start a turn off with that, you can draw 18 cards. So you can cycle through like not draw, but you can cycle through 18 cards in your deck. And so what people figured out was like, hey, what if I use that to just accelerate all of my garbage 7 cost options into the trash for my Beelzemon? What would you know? And that's exactly what they did. So this deck, not all of the versions of this deck actually even run the Wear Garurumon. I think they run maybe like 1 or 2 copies. 3 is I think a little bit high. But the early versions, or the early cards in this deck, the lower end, is all the new Gabumon stuff. And then you just, like I said before, the purple base just uses Beelzemon's 7 full cluster. The Beelstarmon version just uses the 7 cost option. So you have plenty of things to throw away at any time. And because Garurumon itself natively just has a lot of 7 cost options, it just works out. Like, what is it? Metal Storm here, Cocytus Breath, you've got Fly Bullets, of course. Rival's Barrage is a fantastic pickup. Nailbone as well. There's ways to gain a ton of memory in this deck at the same time. Actually, this one is interesting that it doesn't run the new starter deck Mat Tamer. Kind of surprised to see that they're running the old Mat Tamer, the old purple Mat Tamer, who pulls a purple Digimon option from your trash to your hand on play. But the newer one helps you gain memory. And because, again, you're discarding cards like it's nobody's business, it's so easy. So you can typically like pull back a Nailbone if you have enough memory and give your opponent like 2. And then get 2 free Digimon on board. So, and then if things go awry, like your opponent puts something out that you don't want to have to deal with, or you need something to get over a really big wall, you just use Beelstar. And she's so cheap because of all the stuff you've played in the trash already from your Garurumon engine, that she just like wipes out something, or like basically helps you clean up the board. And then the following turn, you can go into Shangri-Mon Ruin mode so that she gets full value. So yeah, pretty damn neat idea. What is this red I haven't seen this red Three Musketeers option in a minute. What is it, I wonder? Whoa, I don't want the alt arts, please no. Where's it at? Did I pass it? Uh-oh, I'm blind. Happy Bullet Shower, is that it? Let me see. I probably could have just typed in bullet, yeah. Oh, here we go. If you have a Digimon with your Musketeers in play, you can use this card to meet its color requirements. Delete all your opponent's Digimon with the lowest DP. Oh, that's annoying. Okay, psych. Don't like that. I guess it's kind of like... I guess I would prefer Gavalt Shawarma, but... I guess, yeah. I'm not sure what this is teched for, but I don't see why you... Oh, I guess you don't want to kill your own stuff, right? Gavalt Shawarma would be your Digimon included, so maybe this is better. Never mind. Okay, yeah. I have figured it out. Metal Storm as well. What does Metal Storm do? Let's see. It's not a red card for sure. When you would use this card, if you have an X antibody card, reduce the cost by 2. So it's 5 costs if you have an X antibody, which is pretty easy for this deck. And then main, return one of your opponent's level 6 or higher to their hand, then unsuspend. Oh, that's pretty clever. Yeah, I still would like to see the purple matte starter deck tamer, just so you could have a better chance of using this card. I don't know. But yeah, I'm tripping. Yeah, so Beelstar, I actually played against this. It's really, really damn good. I died pretty fast against a friend of mine. I was trying out yeah, I was still using Scalmon. He just like obliterated me. I was like, Jesus Christ, wasn't even close. So yeah, if you're a Gabumon fan, I know it's been hard for a long time, but good news. Animal Colosseum is definitely your jam. Yeah, very, very nasty. I would, again, if I were to make a change to this deck, I think I would change the mat here. I'm just not a fan. Also, what is this? 2, 3, 5... Wait, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, 15. So you can get a free Beelstar out then. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, Bloom's doing well. I talked about it before. But the Bloom Lord is kind of like Agumon was in the past couple sets, where your lower end is pretty much set, but now your top end is where you really get to make the decision on how you want to win the game. And with things like Quantumon, Bloom Lord, Hydramon, Rosemon's also an option, Quartzmon, there's a lot of things you can do. So you can kind of build the deck in your style in it. Does that make sense? So that's pretty much week 2. It'll be really interesting to see. So next week is going to be super interesting because last Sunday was the start of the tournament circuit for the World Championship over here in Japan. So like the stage 1 events. That'll be interesting to see the results from. I think it'll be really cool to see the decks that are. So this is like I guess you could call it the pre championship week, but the week after is gonna be really interesting. I'm super excited for next week. But yeah, lots of purple, lots of Anubis. Again, if you want to see Anubismon, take a look at last week's video. They kind of go crazy, and when Saber Drawn comes out, do your best to get your hands on 4 copies of them, because right now I think that so there's 2 versions of the card, right? There's one that's like the normal just card, and then there's one that's like a foil version. I think the foil version itself is going for like $25 a pop. Pretty wild, even for Japan. Like $25 a pop is kind of crazy. It might just be a lot of hype. Like hopefully the price will go down, but that's pretty surprising. Like there are far cheaper. There are secret rare cards that have 1/5 the price of that card right now. So, whoo! Grab your Saber Dramons. Grab your X Antibody Proto Forms. You're gonna need them, trust me. Video Game Maker, my man, do me a favor and say it one time. I got you, don't worry. Holding Belphemon back. Belphemon's actually a really good deck. Honestly, it's De-Digivolve. No, that doesn't even mess with it. Like you just have to have card advantage in hand. I think other decks just win faster right now. Belphemon, you've got to kind of set up your board to get your Belphemon out. But yeah, like so, like for example, you take Garurumon again with one memory, one Gabumon, and one Cool Boy, and they go through half their deck, and they can get to like their level 5 at the end of the turn, which is pretty insane. So it feels like you're a lot less memory efficient, and just because Belphemont also they play their Digimon rather than Digivolving in a lot of cases, you don't really get like the value you would out of something like a Wisdom Training, where Fenrir Lugumon on the other hand gets tons of value out of a card like that, right? The draw from the Gizamons is nice, but they also don't really control the board that well. So if your Gizamons get wiped, then you have to kind of like start the chain back over, which kind of sucks, you know? So like you have to build up to like the Gizamon, the level 5 one basically, and then go into your Belphemon. But if that gets like destroyed, it's like watching your house of cards just fall, right? Meanwhile, Lugumon over here is just like going to town. He's like, you know what? If I'm not gonna be able to win this turn, I'm just gonna gain a bunch of memory and like drop a bunch of cards in the trash that I can use later on. But yeah, it's still a good deck. People have been trying out Leviamon stuff. It'll be interesting to see how Leviamon and Belphemon develop in the next couple sets, because it feels like they're starting to go the route of actually getting to use those cards, or like use those cards together. And people have already seen a little bit of synergy between them. It'll be cool to see what happens next, because I'm sure that they only make those cards better or work better together. What happened to Shine? Nothing happened to Shine. I think that I said it before, but this is the week that precedes like the first stage of like championship qualifiers for Japan. So because this set is really new, people don't really know the matchup. So I think everyone's just trying the decks out right now, just to get a really good understanding of like how they work, what their weaknesses are, and how to fight against them. Because if you take a look, like most of this other stuff you've pretty much seen before. Yeah, I'm telling you, wait for next week's results, because then I feel like we get a really accurate picture of how well these decks do against good old Marcus or Fenrir Lugumon or Agumon. That'll be really interesting to see. Fanglong, yeah, Fanglong doing work, trust me. Much more than I thought. I really thought that like Fanglong would be like somewhere down here, and then Grace Nova will be somewhere like up here, but it's not been the case. You think LFNC? I'm just gonna assume that's Life Fang Nightclaw. Yeah, okay. It doesn't rely too much on a good roll. I think people, myself included, I thought that was really cool, but I feel like, yeah, sometimes you're looking for a piece you don't get, and then like your one stack that you've been like building up and like tearing down and building up just gets obliterated. You're like, well, I guess I'll start over next turn. Hee hee. Yeah, I know it's so easy to hate Agumon, but after playing the deck for a couple of weeks, it's kind of cool to be able to take the main protagonist deck and build it in whatever your style is, because there's defensive Agumon cards, there's offensive Agumon cards. I even tried out the BT14 version of Agumon that uses the Skull Greymon, and it's actually pretty cool. It's focused on getting an Agumon and raising, pulling out a Skull Greymon, blowing up the Skull Greymon alongside one of your opponent's Digimon, and then you get to drop an Agumon that has Rush, and then you can use that to attack your opponent's security, and then win with the War Greymon later on. Yeah, there's Blitz Greymon too. I mean, if you really want to go the route, it's kind of cool. If you hate the deck, I'll say this: give it a shot. Really give it a shot, because once you try, you're like, okay, I get it. Yeah, it's pretty strong, but right now it's very mortal. It's very mortal in this atmosphere. Oh. David just popped it again in Malaysia and Indonesia. Damn, you'd love to see it. Yeah, somebody was telling me last week, it's kind of sad, but I was hyping up the Leopardmon deck that won, I think, in Thailand last week. But one of the guys commented in that video. He said, hey, just a heads up here. We were talking about that deck, and unfortunately, there were some misrulings in the play. So the way that deck worked was you would take Leopardmon X Antibody and play him. And then with this effect, you can play a 7 cost or lower. And they would typically play one of the Deva cards. And then once you get the Deva card down, if your breeding area is open, you can also just play another Deva card with a different name. And then you could use Mimi to rest and then pull that Deva out into the field. Yeah, and people were like, actually, the card that's played in the breeding area cannot attack. Where I think that in a lot of the matches in that Thailand tournament, they misruled it and said that it could attack. So, kind of unfortunate. It is cool, though, that you can have, like, what, 2 level 5s and a level 6 out that all have blocker. But yeah, I guess that does affect the way the deck did a little bit. But still, like, the other option is to not pull out the level 5, and then the following turn, if your board gets wiped, then you can just pull out another level 5, do the whole thing over again. So, there's that. So Mimi's. So here's the thing. This is a really weird ruling. This trips up most people when they start to see the game. Like, if you hatch a Digimon, it's considered different than playing a Digimon. Digimon who've been played this turn, or cards that were played this turn that become Digimon, in the case of tamers like hybrids, cannot attack. But hatching a Digimon is not the same as playing a Digimon. So Mimi was really good in the past because you could get a level 5 onto the board, use 2 Mimis, one to rest and then open another egg, and hatch another egg, and then Digivolve into something, and then you could rest the second Mimi to pull it out, and that could attack immediately. That's okay. That's fair and legal. But if you actually play the Digimon in Raising, that's considered playing the card, and because it was played this turn, you can't attack. Hey, Ada, thanks for the kind words, big dog. I appreciate you. But yeah, Mimi's really good because she can create multiple attacks. My friend Obama hit me with that. That's one of the reasons me and all my homies hate green, actually. But yeah, you got to be careful that hatching is different from actually playing. But in the case of playing and then moving it from the breeding area, that still counts as playing this turn. So, oh, thanks, Doza. I appreciate it, man. Or Loza, excuse me. My bad. These eyes ain't what they used to be. But that's pretty much week 2. All purple everything. Obama like Majin Obama? Absolutely Majin Obama. He used to be the nastiest green player, and then he became the nastiest white-yellow player I've ever met. He plays nasty control decks. Back when, what's his name? Nidhoggmon was really strong. Like the one that you would come out, you could rest like 5,000 or lower Digimon, and then send all that stuff to the bottom of your opponent's deck. He played that when it was really good, along with like Refleshimon to rest Digimon. And after that, Mother D Reaper came out, and he went to tournaments with Mother D Reaper, and he's so nasty, bro. I'm like, you like this? He goes, yeah, I like it when it makes them hurt. He plays Digimon. He stopped playing for about a year. I think he got into some random Fate arcade card game. But he just got back, I think, from the States. He's like, hey, I want to get back into it. We'll see. We were supposed to meet up on Sunday, but that didn't happen. He got really busy, so we'll see. We'll see. Does he play the game? Does he play Digimon? Right now, it's complicated. It's like a Facebook relationship status. It's complicated. Yeah, Fate Go Arcade, exactly that. But yeah, whereas I play more like mid-range and aggressive decks, he likes more control stuff, so we'll see. I'll be interested to see what he thinks of like the current landscape of the game, because I know he's gonna say some hateful shit. I already know it. Yeah. Oh yeah, my takeaways. So yeah, next week is the first set of regionals. A lot of people are trying out 2 decks, and then Garurumon engine is super flexible. Being able to cycle through your deck so quickly is pretty good, and then Anubismon has really good burst power for some nasty come from behind victories. Yeah, you could like think you're like winning against Anubismon, and then Anubismon drops, Mervamon drops, the 2 homies drop, they all attack, the 2 homies DNA Digivolve into Chimeramon, and then you lose the game. So yeah. That's kind of scary. I actually got 2 Anubismons. He's actually pretty expensive. The price went up since people have like figured the deck out. So Royal Knights Destroyers are local. Surprised to see it being so good and not being so good in JP. So here's the thing. Digimon is a really weird game. I think a lot of it comes down to matchups, but I don't really have the widespread field of different card game knowledge to really like stake this claim, but it feels like Digimon's the kind of game where you can almost win with anything. Like even now, Red Hybrid is really good. we saw a guy win a big tournament with Dark Knightmon. The deck got a little bit of support, but nothing super crazy. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Digimon is a different kind of beast. Like when people are like, "This deck sucks," I'm like, yeah, it's just not a. How to say this? When people are like, "Yeah, this deck just sucks," it's like that's probably not that true. Because I'm sure that deck has some pretty damn good matchups, and it's probably against some decks that like you struggle with your deck. Finrugimon can play Floodgates. You technically can play Floodgates with Fenrir, but typically you just win before, right? Unless your starting hand's pretty bad. The funny thing is, Finrugmon's weakness is actually Floodgates. I was sitting there the other day and I was like, man, how do you stop this deck from going off? And I looked at everything, I was like, hold on. Missed Memory Boost. No level 3, or no 3-star Memory Tamer. Minus cost on Digivolve. If you could drop like one Black Chumon or something, or a Gazimon, yeah, like their turns become way more expensive. They get no memory gain off of their inheritance effects. They get no memory gain off of the Lugimon, who just pulls a tamer out of his ass to gain a memory at the start of whenever you start a main phase, whenever you just pulled out into the board. They lose. Their turn becomes hella expensive. But the hard part is like actually keeping those floodgates up, because the deck has Lugimon, who just comes out and just blows up, and they just get cards and he takes something with him, right? So if you have only one floodgate and no way to replace it, it's kind of rough. Yeah, Mirage isn't really affected by floodgates because that deck, again, it's like the secret sleeper. We don't talk about it, but it real good. But Bukamon gotta go. We gotta talk about Bukamon. People were saying that if there was going to be a restricted list update, it was probably going to be around like September 2nd, and that wasn't the case. So it'll be interesting to see how things work. Hafiz, I'm doing pretty good, man. It's been a pretty good start to the week. Hopefully it gets better. But yeah, let me see. I guess I can. Hold on a sec. Let me not dox myself one more time. For you fine people who are here. If you'd like, this is, yeah, jamming Bukamon. That guy is a problem, man. I don't think there's a reason to run any other blue Digimon. Like, any blue Digi-Egg, excuse me. There you go. This is something I haven't released before, but this is the BT14, like, meta report stuff, so. Folks interested in, see, like, how decks did from week to week with BT14. Yeah. It's all there. Also, my notes are there. You guys can read my notes. I have seen that. Yeah, like security control Masaru, where you use like the Agumons that lets you play the Masaru as Digimon. It's kind of like what Yellow Hybrid did, but in this case, you don't have to actually get the hybrid. You just play the tamer and attack with it. Do you think Shy Nerf is coming? I don't. Maybe you nerf the level 5? I don't even know. I don't even know what you nerf, to be honest. The whole package itself is really good. Shine has more counters now. I was kind of expecting BT15 to be a bit more Mugendramon heavy, but I don't feel like that Mugendramon that they released was that useful as part of like the actual archetype. So we'll see. Oh yeah, I guess we can show off this. Actual numbers. So you guys typically see like the actual like chart, but these are the actual numbers from week to week. Where last week Shine Greymon was doing hella numbers. It's like top 5 were Shine, Bloom, Garuru, Fenrir, and Wargray. And then this week, complete shift. Garuru, Anubis, Mirage, then Shine, Yellow, Vaccine. I'm assuming Yellow might see a buff just because you can turn off a lot of OTK stuff with Venusmon. So that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting for sure. Where are we at full numbers wise? Yeah, Garuru as I see has the most wins, followed by Shine, Anubis, Mirage. Yeah. I need to actually build Anubis myself. I think I have all the cards. I just need to put them together in a miserable pile of victory. Yeah. Yeah, Hunter's still in there. I don't think Hunter is that great right now, but man, I hate fighting against it. But yeah, that's it for the meta report, I suppose. I know that there's gonna be some people get really mad at me on YouTube in comments. They're like, man, I sure did like when those videos were like less than an hour long, and I got everything I needed really fast. And I was like, that's cool, but I have like 5 hours in a week to do video editing. Most times, if I have more than 5, I typically try to get 2 videos out, but it's rare these days. I'll be far less busy come the beginning of next year, but they're like, man, this stream you did sure was longer than 10 minutes. And I'm like, sorry, man, I'm super busy this week, so this is actually the fastest way for me to get out a meta video. So there you go. Also, I'm really surprised. Folks really jammed with the idea of my last video. I did a video on, let me see, where's it at? I had been like messing around with this video idea for a long time, but the video about like should you play Digimon, I did like a SWOT analysis of the game. People really vibe with that video. I didn't think it was gonna do that well. I'm glad that people actually enjoyed that. Talk about like the strengths of the game, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats. Folks are really down with that. I also got some. I didn't know, man. There's some really like knowledgeable folks about other scenes that I should really be talking to. Because I try to do. I feel like sometimes I kind of encapsulate myself to my own detriment. I encapsulate myself and kind of like, all right, I gotta do this. Like I gotta do this. When I know there's a ton of like people resources out there I should be talking to and collaborating with to actually get good information. And that video's comment section was a fantastic learning experience. I think the next one I'm gonna do is my favorite Digimon resources. So for folks who are either getting into the game or like want to know more about the game, like they're trying to learn more, what are some good resources for them to use? I think that's gonna be my next one. Question is, when does it come out? That's the hard part. All right, well, if no one's got any questions, I think I'm gonna just skedaddle here. Yeah, let me know if this is a good if you like this. I don't really do too many live streams just because I feel like you have to be consistent, and I cannot commit to being consistent with live streams. Because if I do that, then I do less videos overall, and I feel like videos is just a better use of time in a lot of cases, honestly. Because while I like this, I do like being able to put out like a really clean, like well-presented, organized video that really like hits the nail on the head of what people are looking for. Because I feel like with streams, although I think you get more like feedback from the actual like content creators themselves, it's a lot more rough around the edges. You know what I mean? Is there hope for Gamma in the USA? Gamamon is I don't think Gamamon is a bad deck, especially after the support it gets in the limited pack set. It's just very hard to play. I had this conversation with somebody in my Discord earlier, I think it was last week or this week, and like every time I play Gamamon, I think to myself after the match, oh, I could have done this, and it would actually been better. And it's almost like after every single match, and because there's so many effects and so many lines in that deck, it's really complicated. Like the effects are really good, the lines, I can definitely see it being a good deck. You just really, it's not as easy as something like Fenrir Lugamon or Shine Greymon, where you're just like, all right, Marcus, burst mode, win. It's like, all right, I need like this red level 4 with like the effects of this. I need to stack this one up under here. Then I activate this one's effect to be destroyed and pull something out from the graveyard or the trash. And then I can use his effect over here to Digivolve whenever something else is destroyed and pulled back. And then I go into this one with blocker here to set up for my opponent's next turn. It's so many things. Yeah. Luga has a pretty high ceiling too. I feel myself following some pretty standard lines to play with Fenrir Luga, and that is get to Fenrir Luga or set up in the early turns. I start my games cheat sheet here, cheat sheet Lugamon. start my game with like 2 cards I can get card draw off of, either a Digimon level 3 Digivolve or an option card, or I like to run, and people don't like this, but I like to run the Drachmon for searchability. So if I like one of those, or like a memory boost, or not memory boost, but yeah, miss memory boost, wisdom, 2 of those cards, start the game, go into level 3, go into my Hellugamon as soon as possible, blow up their board, draw cards, dump cards into the trash, whether I need them or not, or whether I need to destroy an opponent's Digimon or not, just dump cards into the trash, so I have my level 4 set up for my friend Lugamon. Either do that one more time, or go into Lugamon himself, and then just win the game. During that time, I also want to make sure that I collect 1 Chimeramon, and then that way, once my Fenrir Lugamon wipes their entire board, goes through their security, I can use the rested Digimon from the Alliance to go into Chimeramon to get the game-winning attack. And if not, I can typically go into another Fenrir Lugamon. So, like, I feel like that's so straightforward. I feel like maybe it's because I played it a lot more. Like practicing against Fenrir Lugamon in Tokyo and Akihabara especially is like it's everywhere. So I feel like I just had more practice. I don't know. I wish Ravemon just wasn't absolutely terrible. Here's the thing. You don't know this, but you kind of do. I like Ravemon. I thought it was a very fun deck. But if Ravemon was a really good deck, you would have people angry that it's basically Yatagarasu from Yu-Gi-Oh! So I kind of get it. If you rob people of resources too hard, then it becomes like a deck that your opponent can't do anything against because they can't draw cards and keep them in their hand reliably. So I kind of get it. Like, I like Ravemon for what it was, and sometimes you could steal a couple of games with it, but if it was good, I think people would... Like, you talk about people, like, in the West, like, bitching about Marcus. Ravemon wiping your hand and your board, people would be up in arms, bro. They would be marching with pitchforks. I love Ravemon, too. That's the thing. Like, I have I've got some alt arts for the Ravemon that I pulled from my box, but... Yeah, I can respect why he's not amazing. He's good, not amazing. Because if he was amazing, boy. Whoo doggy. Do I think Shine's gonna get hit? Maybe. It's been really good for a long time, and Bandai has a habit of using Japan as their test. What is it? Test dummy? Is that the word I want to use? Guinea pig. That's the word I want to use. Japan is the guinea pig because the larger like financial market is America. So they're like, all right, now that the Japanese players have shown us that this deck is pretty damn cracked, I guess we'll do something about it week 1 of the American scene or the NA scene. Did you try Grace Novamon yet? What do you think about its skill floor ceiling? I think the deck has some really cool combinations that can happen. So, for example, if the faster you get out your Tamers, the more you can do with them to actually win the game. So you can use the combination of the red and blue Tamer to essentially keep Digivolving into your level 6s to attack with multiple security pluses, and then go into Dianamon to unsuspend, and then go into level 6 again, and then attack again. So there's lots of really cool ways. Like, even, like, I was just walking home with my box, and I was like, damn, this is possible. Not bad. That's pretty cool, actually. But but that takes time, and you have to set up, and you have to get the cards you need, and I think that's where the deck kind of falls on its face, and that is, like, getting there. That, like, it's not about the end destination, right? It's about the journey. Their journey is a lot more uphill than I think people really originally thought. Yeah, I think that it really does feel like the battle director or the person who actually, like, maybe R&D changed between BT 11 and BT 13, because the past couple sets have been really fun to play in. Like, even though, like, decks are super strong, things like Fenrir Lugamon, Shine Greymon, I never feel completely out of it. So yeah, like, the person who's, like, doing battle, I feel like they've been doing like battle adjustments and, like, R&D for the game to, I guess, do balance. I feel like they've been really doing a great job. I can't stress that enough. I've had so much fun. Like, I, like, put together, like, my Leopardmon deck with Leopardmon X. Like, damn, this feels kind of janky, but it's actually not that bad. I combine with Angoromon stuff, do neat things. Needing 2 specific pieces. Grace Nova. 16 will also want specific material. Avocado Loco, what's up, buddy? Hey, I was in New York at the beginning of last year. Why didn't you find me, man? I was in Soho. I actually tried to find a card shop when I was in New York City, but it didn't go very well. I cannot use the train system. Why do you guys have like 3 stations named with the same name? I don't understand. Hey, Codeman, what's up? My thoughts on the machine support, and will it make the deck meta again? What machine support? Are you talking about from BT16? Or, sorry, BT15? Or from the Black Starter decks? The Black Starter decks do a lot, I think. Those are really cool. There's also the... what was that card? They printed that new, I think it's a 6-cost black card that just can't be destroyed by your opponent's effects, which is insane. What is it? Hold up. Well, I think I goofed, y'all. What I should have done is click stop streaming and then click start streaming again, so I have a nice little clean break from my YouTube, but it's probably not gonna happen now. People are gonna be really pissed off. I can already feel it. Who was it? I don't think he was a... I don't think it was a Gardramon either. I'm talking about the one from... It might have been this set, actually. Whoops, 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 whoops. Panicking, I'm panicking, I'm panicking, I'm panicking. Where is he? Oh, this guy right here. Yeah, Datamon. Yeah. Both turns, 6 cost, level 5. This Digimon can't be deleted by your opponent's effects. In a lot of matchups, you can just kind of just play this guy turn 1. Like, what are they gonna do? Like, they're not gonna win. Not turn 1. Of course, you gotta make sure you have cards in hand for your Magindramon, but that's a different story. Yeah, cards like this I think are really good. The problem is, there's just like this really easy answer to all of the machine stuff right now. And it is not a level 5, it's a level 4, which makes it even worse. This Angemon, the security Angemon, on attack, by deleting this Digimon, activate one of the following effects. Place one of your opponent's Digimon with the virus trait at the bottom of your opponent's security stack. That hurts. Because it's not destroying, it's not sending back to hand. And wouldn't you believe it? I think they call it Machine Dramon, right? Am I tripping? Huh, why is it not finding it? Oh. Yeah, Machine Dramon, Chaos Dramon, all those guys are viruses. Actually, if you run the defensive variant of War Greymon, you also just lose your stack immediately, which is so hard. So this guy, virus. This guy, virus. This guy, virus. Like, though that's the even this guy, virus. Yeah. That Angemon is so... I mean, it's one deck, right? But Black War Greymon X, virus. Gaiomon, virus. Black War Greymon, virus. Running into yellow vaccine as any of those decks, it's like, oh god. It's going to take a long time, and I'm probably going to lose. I'm just losing with extra steps, you know? So, there's that. Teriolopmon structure deck could be as good as the Beals one. That'll be interesting, yeah. Double Typhoon, I think is what it's called. Yeah, Terriermon is... I like not Galgamon. Not Rapidmon. What is it? Gargamon? Yeah, I like Gargamon's design. I think this is a fantastic, like, design Digimon. I don't really care about Terriermon, but Gargamon? Gives me real good Heavy Arms vibes. Also, Black Mega Gargomon, you can't, like, the eye gleam is too clean. You can't tell me. Yeah, they're all not great. That's the unfortunate part. But I, like, aesthetically, I love Gargomon. And that's where it stops. Oh. That's where it stops. Yeah, like, when this card came out, I was like, damn, this is sick. And then I use it like, damn, I can't play this deck very well. I get beat up. But yeah, it'll be nice to see some really cool support for them. Other than that, I don't really know how the deck works, though. Do they use Alliance? It'll be interesting to see. Terriermon will have its day one day. Honestly, when they did all the releases for the Armor Digimon, I was kind of hoping for more support. Like, I thought that the armors themselves would be like option cards that have a delay effect. That didn't materialize into anything. I was like, really? They just didn't? They have the Digimon, but not the actual armor? That seems weird to me, but yeah. There's an Alliance core, but it's really poo. Yeah, Alliance is one of those effects that I didn't think was great, and then I saw Fenrir Lugumon, I'm like, man, if you could unsuspend, Alliance is amazing. It's absolutely cracked, but you have to be able to unsuspend, which none of the stuff originally got. So, unfortunate. What do you think about promo Ukomon? Oh, you mean the one that looks like the butt detective? In Japan, hold on, let me see if I can find it. In Japan, there's a manga or an anime called, it translates to like the butt detective. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, Oshiri Tante. Oshiri means butt in Japanese. A little bit of knowledge for you. But yeah, the butt detective is, see if I can find a video here. Like that. When he says this, is he farting? Is that a thing? I don't know. But yeah, the Ukomon looks like this guy right here. Let me see if I can find the Ukomon. I don't. Card. That's a very popular series, the Butt Detective Oshiri Tante. But here we go. Ukomon. So, the second Rainbow Digimon we've ever gotten for the game. Can I zoom in here? Control Shift Plus. So yeah, second ever. Like Rainbow evolves, so evolves from anything. Any level 2 from 0. He's white. Your turn, once per turn. If you have, what is it? Whenever Digimon comes from the raising area to the battle area, it can evolve. And then after that, memory plus 1. You hatch an egg, I think. Yeah, so you pull something out, hatch an egg, and then gain memory. That's really strong. I think in the past, people have only run 4 copy, of eggs, but this might be the reason for everyone to have a 5th egg. I guess the problem here is that he's white, so you need to digivolve off of him into something, right? He's a white Digimon, so if you have something that doesn't digivolve from white Digimon, then yeah, you just yeah. But having like the immediate digivolve in the back is actually very good. A lot of decks like keep momentum that way. Will it be useful? I don't know. I think that the fact that it's just white holds it back, but we'll see. Yeah, it doesn't really do much. I guess you can attack with it, but actually, yeah, that actually might be the move. Like, you just have a copy of this guy in the deck. Like, no, not even. I don't know. Maybe, honestly, maybe not, actually. You get an additional check, but you have to, first of all, have him on the board during the breeding step. That's the only way you actually get the full effect here. So, because remember, it's whenever Digimon comes from the breeding area to the battle area. That, or I guess play Mimi. I don't know. Is if coming out itself hatches an egg? No. It's only when one of your Digimon moves from the breeding area to the battle area. So it's during that one step or Mimi. So maybe green gets some use out of it? So it doesn't include itself as it moves. If you have this card going from the breeding area to the battle area, then it counts, but a lot of things have to fall in line, right? Like you have to have this card in your hand, you have to have an open Digimon in the breeding area, and you have to use it, you have to have it digivolve onto that card, and in the following turn you can get the attack off. So it might be a little bit more clunky than we think. Who knows? Any other questions, I guess? While I'm here. While you have me. Any other questions? Oh, yeah, check this out. Give me 1 second. I ordered custom sleeves for the first time, and there's actually not really any services that do that in Japan that are good. They assume that you're going to be like printing in bulk. So like, all right, so if you're going to order some custom sleeves, we're assuming that the minimum order is 10,000 sleeves. And yeah, I'm like, all right, hold on, time out. Can we put the brakes on for just a second, please? But I use a site called yourplaymat.com, free exposure for them. And I did this sick design. Let me see. Hold on 1 second. We talked about this in Discord a little bit. I did a like kind of gauge interest a while back, because I don't know about you guys, but I like really minimally designed things. Also, or like things I can relate to. Where if you go to any card shop in pretty much all of Japan, to Akihabara or in Tokyo, it's all like nasty shit, like half naked ass girls. I'm like, I can't go to like an event with this shit. I can't like play this in public. So I was like, you know, what if I make my own card sleeves? And had some ideas. See if I can show them off. But I actually took one of the ideas, just as a trial, and I went to yourplaymat.com or whatever, and I actually used their service, and it was actually much better. Much better, maybe it's a little bit of an oversell, but it was better than I thought. So let me see if I can find it here. Let's just close all that. Is there a way to only show this part? Oh, wait, I have them on my computer. I'm so dumb. I'm so stupid. Hold on a second. I might be the dumbest guy in the world. Sometimes I just do things I'm like, come on, man. Don't use your head for a hat rack. Be smart about it. Digimon assets. Not match assets. Card sleeves. There we go. Yeah, I came up with a couple of ideas for stuff. So I like, again, really simple designs. And the one that I came up with was this one right here. So really simple card sleeve design. It's got like my, I guess, logo or YouTube logo or whatever. Plus like the Japanese like print, like a nice white border. I ordered this on their website. And it took like a month to get here because I live in Japan. It's so far from, I guess, their offices. But it actually came in, and not bad. The only unfortunate part is, I guess my background was too dark, where I had like the nice Japanese print background, and it just ended up like coming out all black. So it's really kind of unfortunate, but the card design itself actually looks pretty nice. Yeah, pretty simple. this is what it should have been. I actually contacted their support and I was like, hey, can you do me a favor and send me the original design that I sent you? And they're like, yeah, sure, no problem. So they sent it to me like, this is the design I sent that you sent me, and here's what I received. Like, is there any way that if I do this again, I can not have it just come out as black? I'm assuming it was just too dark. And they're like, yeah, just lighten it a little bit. It should be okay. We can also give you like a discount code if you want to try again. I was like, okay. I mean, it'd be nice if you guys would just print them and send them to me. But all right, if there's got to be a discount code, whatever. I might try it again in the future. But that was the first one. I had a lot of ideas. Something simple like this, white black motif. Something with blue, green. I really struggle to find any sort of like nature themed card sleeve, especially in Japan. That's not just like some magic land or like a magic themed MTG sleeve. I don't want to do that. So this one's like the idea, the motif is like a leaf. This is like the first version of the Japanese print that I did. Purple, red. I don't know if I like this. The idea, the motif there was fire, but I also did a bunch of with just like, my friend Different Fight was like, hey, you should do one with like your logo on it. I was like, all right, let me give it a shot. So yeah, ooh, nasty. I also got one in all white. I kind of like this one, I think maybe the most. But I think I'm gonna try again and see if they will print my shit right this time. But yeah, they actually look really nice. I got 100 of them. Yeah, the leaf one I really like just because it's, again, I have, right now my Bloom Quartz deck isn't just like regular green, light green sleeves. I'm like, I don't like this. Gotta have my shit pimped out a little bit, you know? Even though I barely play green. As we know, me and all my homies hate that shit. The new X line for Rosemont, Andreas, I honestly don't know that much. I saw the cards. I remember looking at the effects like, oh, this is pretty good. But if you were to quiz me right now, gun to my head, I'd die. I wouldn't. I can't remember them. Do you think it's too much support? And what about Tyrannomon? Hey, what about Tyrannomon? Actually, though, what up with my Dino homies out there? Tyrannomon has so many good cards that are 3-cost level 4s. I was like, why do I have to pay so much to get the dinosaur out with a good effect? Meanwhile, Blugamon is like, hey, if I exist at the start of the main phase in the battle area, can you just slot a tamer up onto me for free and then I gain memory? Meanwhile, the dinosaurs are like, hey man, cool meteor coming. What file format did I send the designs? I sent them in actually they say that you can send them in PNG, JPEG, or Photoshop. I sent them in Photoshop. But they were very specific, like, hey, the saturation here was just a problem. So if you either make the background stand out a little bit more, or you order the premium service, the premium printing service, this problem will go away. So yeah, they gave me the coupon code they gave me was like 20% off. I'm like, it's actually not that bad. I might try again. I might. Or if they want to sponsor your boy, I am happy. I am very happy to a sponsor stream and chill. Any advice for anyone that's planning to do Digimon, or not Digimon, but TCG content creating? Dexter, hey, I'll say this. Find something that no one, or I guess, find something that you can do very well. And see if people are interested in that thing. And once those two, like, lines meet, that's the content you want to make. I remember seeing somebody on Twitter a couple of weeks ago. They were like, man, I feel like every video I see is like a deck profile or a either a deck profile or like a match video, and like I don't know what kind of content to create. And like they're like, am I just really bad at this, or do I just not have any like good ideas? And I thought about that post. I didn't respond to it because it wasn't like my community. I think it was somebody that my friend Different Fight responded to. But I was like, I think you just need more ideas, man. Just sit down sometimes with like a pen and paper and just go through ideas. Let me see if I can find this. So I've got a couple ideas. One of them was the SWOT analysis video I did before. The other one is like the resources for card games that I think are very useful for people. Another one that I did was for every new set that comes out, there's something that I think that a lot of people overlook, is that people, for pretty much any game you play, are going to get into the game, or are like maybe looking to get into the game, but it's really hard. Like, I've recently started playing, I tried to build a Pokemon deck, and there's just so much information out there. And so for someone who's really new at the game, a thing that's really useful, I think, just in my opinion, is that for every set that comes out, create a video that says, hey, welcome to the game. If you're interested in getting into the game, here's a couple of ideas. Here's a couple of starting points. First of all, like, this is the newest set, or like, this is the set that I'm referring to or starting from. And then from there, you can go, like, recommend them 3 kinds of decks. One deck that's super beginner friendly, whether it's from that set or not, but like really easy to just like put together, not super expensive, they can just build and play. The second is something that's a deck they can build if they only buy boxes from that set or packs from that set. So a deck that you can build with just that set. Because again, they're just getting into the game, so they don't have the breadth of knowledge for all the cards that came before it. And as games get like more, as time goes on, games only get more complicated in that respect. So like something that's just like that, like just from that set only, whether it's good or not, but something you can just build and play. And then the final one is a really competitive deck of the like, hey, if you want to be super sweaty in this game, here from the onset, here's a deck you can build. I can't promise you it'll be cheap. I can't promise you it'll be easy to play, but it's very competitive. So I feel like that's something that I kick myself for not being able to or having the time to do, is that every time a new set comes out, no matter if it's like a big set or a small set, make a video that talks about, hey, welcome to the game. Here's the 3 things you should, 3 decks you can use to like, start playing right now. That's a really good idea. But yeah, just sit down and also don't get focused on the numbers. Do something that you actually enjoy doing. If you focus on the numbers, it's bad end, I promise you. Do you think Diana and Apollomon is... Hopefully that helped. Also, free video idea. Can you do a video on best staples for each color? Cosmic Uzumaki. This is another one I thought about as well. Like right now, like what are, for each color, like what are like the really good option cards you probably want to like just grab a couple copies of because they're just generically good. So for example, red is like, I don't actually know what this card is called in English, but in Japanese it's called Koen. Red option. The 6 cost option that stops your opponent from playing Digimon by effects and wipes their board of all their 6,000s or lower. I don't actually know what the name of the card is in English. Crimson Blaze, yeah. Ice Wall, fantastic one, yeah. Sorai is another good one. Kongo, the black option card. Kongo is really good. Another black option all people don't have on the radar is, what is it, Breath of God? The one that gives you like plus 2k, can't be minus DP'd or sent back to your opponent's hand, or something like that. That card is actually really good. Breath of the Gods, that's the one. So it's this one here. Breath of the Gods is a fantastic option card. It's a little old, but it's gives you Digimon reboot, can't have the DP reduced, and they can't be sent back to their hand or deck. Which, honestly, because they're also rebooted, it's really hard for opponents to take them out. Yeah, Zubagon Punch as well is a really good one. But yeah, that's a really good idea. I'd like to do that. But yeah, time. Tactical Retreat, Reinforcement Reboost, Blinding Ray for yellow. Yeah, it's a very old card, yeah, but still pretty good. .0 or 1.5 for the outside of age. Yeah, good point, yeah. I forget that happens. Like, you guys got like 3 sets in 1 or in 2. It's really interesting that when I had a chance to visit Korea not last month, like 2 months ago, 3 months ago. Gaia Force! When I had a chance to visit Korea a couple months ago, I got a chance to talk to a guy. By happenstance, I ran into a guy in a Street Fighter like fighting game play space. I don't know how to call it. It's like a bar / like video game place. So you just chill and play. A guy was playing Digimon. I was like, "Are those Digimon cards?" He goes, "Yeah." I'm like, they're in Korean though. He goes, "Yeah, Digimon just started in Korea like this year. They're like racing sets out over there. I think like every month or every 2 months they get a new set. Every 2 months is a new set. So like BT1, BT2, BT3, BT4, new set. But I had a chance to play with him, and I went back and played like old like BT3, I think, up to BT3, where he was like using like Rookie Rush, like blue-green Rookie Rush, and I just used Megazoo. I was like, dang, this is pretty tight. They're on BT5 now? That sounds about right, yeah. They might have been on BT4 when I was there. Make a 2-part color staple video, but just name Minboo's training post. Damn, that's scuff, man. You can't. Now, one of the things that I do is I make sure that like I never do it for the money. I have an actual job that's already enough, and sometimes I think about it. Like, what if I just did like YouTube stuff like full time, like content creation full time, and I think I would drive myself crazy. I'm one of those people who have a really hard time just like unplugging. Luckily for my current job, I can just kind of like, all right, 5 o'clock is here, I'm done. But with content creation, because if you feel like you have ownership of like everything you make, because you are the owner of everything, right? So I feel like there's more pressure on me to do that. Make a floodgate tier list. YouTube, why not Twitch? Hey Gucci, what's up, man? I haven't streamed on Twitch in a while. I just feel like most folks who knew of me right now, like making content, is like, hey, I've seen you on YouTube. So yeah, that's why. Also, I just want to try it out. I never streamed on Twitch or YouTube before, but I was like, first time for everything. Also, morning, man. Every time a new set comes out, recommended floodgates. Nah, I'd like for my videos to be I don't know. I'd like to do something a little bit more out of the box with other videos. So like that's one of the that's where it takes more time and it's like harder to do. But I feel like the meta report stuff is like bread and butter, and then everything else I think is just for fun. For example, the video that I made like about Digimon's Pot of Greed problem, that was like a really fun video for me to make. I got a chance to really like make something that's not really out there. I think that's really big, right? Not tier list, but the SWOT analysis I thought was another good one. I think I like the Pot of Greed one more, but SWOT analysis is also very fun to make. I got to do a lot of research. Finding out about the guy who actually created the memory system, Ryan Miller, really interesting fella. He's got a really, really cool story. I wish that maybe someone has already done it, but they should make a video on like his career. It'd be really interesting to watch. Do I think D-Brigade and D-Police will get stronger? Yeah, I mean, they got support, and all that stuff works with Digi-Police. It'll be interesting to see how the D-Brigade / Digi-Police cards fit into Digi-Police itself, and if Digi-Police becomes an archetype that uses some of the D-Brigade cards, or, you know, something else happens. Have I seen much Grace Nova? Unfortunately not. It's kind of hard to play, and losing your stack is like basically losing the game, so you have to be really careful, considering how much removal is out there right now. Armor support in BT16? Maybe. BT15 is up until... Yeah, I guess. I'm trying to think like back to the anime. I think armors would be next, right? Again, my lore knowledge is really bad, so I could be wrong, but... Yeah, the maker of the memory system, he worked at Magic for like 10 years. He was the lead designer for Duel Masters. Duel Masters is hella popular. Have I played Duel Masters? No. My card game history, if you would love to know more about how I got started in card games, I did an entire interview with the DMV Drake guys, and I talked about like how I started getting into card games, why I got into them, how I got out of them, and then not simultaneously, but like how I got into card games, out of card games, then back into card games like 10 years later. It's a really good talk. You guys definitely check it out on the channel. The DMV Drake guys did a fantastic job. There's supposedly the new keyword partition for... Oh, yeah, partition. They said it's what? You can basically just like DNA Digivolve, and then like it does something with the pieces for the DNA Digivolve. That'll be interesting. What do I think of Leviamon? He gets better over time. A little lackluster right now, but he's like Venusmon. People say, oh, he's okay. And as time goes on, they're like, hold on a second. This card's kind of cracked. Ooh, I don't recommend saying you're a Jap player. That's incredibly offensive. I think that's actually a slur, so probably not a good idea to say that. It's crazy. People still play Alteres around here too. Alteres has partition. Really? Yeah, I see. Okay, I see what you mean. Did they already name what partition does? Yeah, JP is probably better. Yeah. Yeah, I know Japanese people have a lot of they abbreviate a lot of stuff. Did they already? I know that they had talked like kind of what it does, but did they actually release the effect name? Thanks to the data from our release sales sheet, we know that some of the main features for BT16, the beginning of Observer, for the card game. Oh, Ukomon. Yeah. As expected, the main theme of the set is Digimon Adventure 02. The beginning, there will be many Digimon and Tamer cards of characters from the film, including Louis and Ukomon. Imperial Dramon Fighter Mode will get an Ace card, and there will be 3 more Ace cards. Okay. A new effect called Partition appears. When a card leaves the battle area, it allows you to use the Jogger's resources. They don't say how, though. Okay, that'll be interesting. Yeah, we'll see. Please don't, like, let you play them out raw. That'd be wild. Leon and Pulsemon from the Digimon Seekers will both appear in the set. It's about damn time. I actually like Pulsemon. I actually really like Pulsemon. Hey, Respiro, what's up? Howdy, howdy. You actually caught us on the tail end. I decided instead of like recording and editing, because I don't have the 5 hours dedicated to it this week. I would just do a live stream with our meta report, and we did that. Unfortunately, you're on the tail end of that, so you might have to watch from the beginning. My bad. Yeah, Pulsemon, like the Bulkmon stuff, like the old Pulsemon that gets like lets you draw and play and get a memory if you have 3 security, was pretty cool. The Bulkmon that gets security attack +1, I think it is, and then combined with the Pulsemon that gives him jamming, or is that opposite? Might be the opposite. That was really cool, but yeah, the deck just kind of falls flat right now because there's not enough support for it. But it'll be nice for it to get more. Yeah, I need to grab the promo Boutmons. The ones that you unsuspend, I think. An inheritance. Am I tripping? Let me see. Boutmon. Uh-oh. Ooh, okay. Just got a very important text message. Boutmon. So, but this one right here, yeah. When he would evolve into a shaman or a wizard, which is actually really good. I think this includes stuff like, oh, my bad. So, Boutmon, whenever he evolves into a shaman or a wizard, you trash up to 3 cards from the top of your security stack. That's pretty rough. But for every card trashed, you can reduce the Digivolve cost by 1. If there's like a really strong finisher for this deck, this card becomes really strong. And if you have 3 security cards, unsuspend this Digimon when attacking. So you can basically set up the inheritance effect with the evolve effect here, and be able to swing twice. That'll be cool. Namco Bandai. I used to mess up their name all the time. Someone made a joke, a Tekken joke a long time ago. They said Bando Namkai. And for some reason that stuck in my head for like 10 years. So one fighting game tournament, and someone just mentioned that as a joke, like, it's Bando Namkai's new game, Wekken. And 10 years later, I'm just like, which one's correct? Kazuchimon? Oh, that's what's up. Oh, with Kentaurasmon. Not bad. Not bad. Yeah, Kentaurasmon was one of those decks I always wanted to try, but I was like, no, I got too much other stuff I want to play right now. So it just kind of fell by the wayside. All right, good people. I think we're coming up on about 2 hours here, and unfortunately, man, I want to know if there's a way to like increase my bandwidth. I'm only my bitrate, not bandwidth. I'm only at 2,000 kilobits per second or kilobytes per second. Normally, I want to be around like 6,000. This stream must be crunchy as fuck. Yeah, I think I'm gonna head out, folks, just because it's getting to be around my bedtime over here, and I still need to, I guess, put a thumbnail on this stream video archive thing. I don't know what to call it, but yeah, thanks for stopping by. Hope you guys had fun. Maybe we'll do this more in the future, as my my schedule is as hectic as it's probably ever going to be in these next coming weeks. Might be a more regular thing. Anyways, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for chilling. And, yeah, hope you guys had fun. Bye-bye. You will not be able to reconnect. The stream will stop. Oh, okay. They're just warning me. All right, Fur. Bye-bye. Take care.